This week so far, it's been pretty constructive, I would say. Gold is starting to look a little nice again. So that little Monday pump, that was beautiful. Tuesday sideways action. And so far, Wednesday very early, very, very early, of course. We're still up a little. We've still got data, every day we've got a bit of data. We've also got that peace treaty. I don't know how much is priced in. It's probably not priced in. And actually, it might get rejected at this point. So it's probably a non-issue. But gold is looking like it wants to at least test this descending line. But as soon as you pop your head above that, especially if you close above it, 4,200 looks pretty important. You see those two candles there? That's kind of the high. A close above 4,200 might even be more significant than a close above this last high. But anyway, 4,200 or 4,250, those I think are pretty important levels on a daily close. You can close above that, you're pretty much guaranteed to move to 4,380, which is quite a big move in itself. Well, actually, we've done moves like that before. Maybe that's what we're gonna do, working towards the Fed decision. What is it, December 10th or something, which is quite a while away, actually. We could even you know what, the market usually knows anyway. We'll probably start testing. I mean, this is quite a guess here, but we'll probably start testing 4,380 before the Fed meeting. And, if they decide to cut rates, then maybe we break out on that day. That's in gold because silver's more advanced. I mean, look at that, right? That just takes like 2, 3 okay days and you're back at 54.5. My God, silver's going to lead the way. And today's quite nice too. You can see also Monday, that was nice, right? When was the last time we closed at 51 point, whatever it was, 4? In the last couple of days, it hasn't happened since this move where we closed way higher and we tested, double top. But triple tops, they rarely hold. So if we're going to test this 54.5, we're probably going to close above it and run. So I reckon silver tests 54.5, point 0.5, let's just say 55, and closes there before gold hits its, version 4,380. And I think it's going to happen before the Fed day. I think it's going to front run. I think it knows the answer. And anyway, if they don't cut, they're going to cut a few weeks later. It's the same thing. So it's looking bullish again. GXY, I don't think that's had too much of an impact. I mean, that's come down. But that Monday, yeah, look, DXY just went sideways. It didn't break out. So Monday was our big day and dollar did nothing. So you can see it's maybe not worth looking into it. And I tell you what, the fact that it hasn't taken it out here, and if we start to close below this, it could start to go back down as Fed day approaches. So we could end up having the dollar down, which would give an extra boost to the likelihood that gold and silver break out. If we look at the miners, what a beautiful Monday that was. I mean, I didn't do a video that day, but that was a massive day for I think the portfolios. I had an incredible day. And then Tuesday, sideways day, fair enough. That's nice. After a massive day like that, you're supposed to be, you could accept a sort of -3% day, but in the end, it was unchanged. In fact, I was up in my, gold portfolio, so that's also quite nice. And today, if everything holds, we could end up testing on GDX 80, which is a nice big number. And then boom, if we're gonna go test the gold highs, 52-week highs, silver 52-week highs, we should be all the way up 85 on GDX. And we'll probably, I think GDX will take out its highs, 52-week highs before gold does. So I think silver will even lead the GDX to new highs, even though GDX is usually, gold seniors. GDXJ looks even better. 102.5. We can test that today if everything's green. And yeah, we should go test all the way up here especially if silver makes its move. And that's a nice 12% profit. SIL. They're all similar charts. I'm not going to waste too long. That looks nice for me. That's the obvious level, 72-ish, right? That's the high. That's also the low from there. I think these lines are perfect. And then big move. How much is that of a move? Even better. SIL, bigger move than GDXJ, you know? 16.5. So silver really has more catching up through, even though it's leading the way. SILJ, yeah, 12%. I'm already predicting this stuff. 17 makes sense. 17.5%, pretty much 20% move in the silver just to go up and test the old highs, which is not that far away. Remember where silver is, just there, just to go from where we are right now. Well, SILJ, if it was open right now, it'd probably be up 1 or 2%. But yeah, 5% move in silver, you can do that in one day, you know, tomorrow. So the miners look good. I like the way that there's a big move to come. It's better that than if there was a smaller move, because I think if silver gets here, the miners have to get there too. All right, let's look at the portfolio, which actually is looking quite good. Newmont. Well, I gotta fix this chart. The gap has been filled, so that's irrelevant. Newmont, maybe underperforming GDX or just about in line, but Newmont's good for me. I don't see too much of a problem. So today, I'm not sure if we're going to test 90, but 90 is a mini level. We've tested it a few times, never closed above it. Next stop is the last high once we did close above it, 94. Yeah, so 90, 94, and basically 98.5, the 52-week high. I think that's pretty clear to me. Those are your simple levels. And on the way down, of course, it would be this, but I don't think there's any point talking about the way down because we're at least one very bad day away from discussing that right now. You can talk about the move up, but I think those horizontal levels are pretty simple. No need for any, RSI, MACD, Elliott wave, just those are the levels. I like that. And I like the fact that I don't know, if it was outperforming, that'd be good too, like Barrick style, but I don't mind Newmont being 14% away. Wow, almost 15% away. And I think we're going to go test the highs. So I can look forward to at least 15% move in Newmont. And it's worth quite a lot. So that's nice. And Newmont's going to be up here if gold's testing its old highs. Maybe it's underperforming by a few millimeters on the chart, but it's not like, you know, got some bad news putting weight on the stock to the point where it won't test highs if the metals do. So I like that. Nico Eagle, same thing. I would say it's underperforming a little bit, but guaranteed to be testing, its 52-week highs if gold does. So that's also nice. So that's a little, 13% move, guaranteed if gold does its move. I think that is also the level 175 on the way up. Test the old high, and then yeah, 175 to 187.5 on the way down. Pretty clear. Don't overthink it. Barrick, wonderful, wonderful. I think there was some news, wasn't there? Like they've come to an agreement with the Mali government and they're going to reopen the mines. It sounds pretty good, but actually, the day I saw that, the stock is just sort of sideways. So again, the market knows in advance all this insider stuff that we're not privy to. Yesterday we touched 40 though, right? Look at that little psychological level. So that's probably why we underperformed yesterday. I had overall green there. You can see it here, even though some of the stocks that I have in my portfolio are deleted from TradingView. You can still see it was a green day, and Barrick obviously was down 1%. But if I zoom out, I was thinking about this yesterday. Barrick has done phenomenally well, the best senior recently, clearly, at new 52-week highs already. If gold does its move, which I think it will, Barrick, I can expect to hit basically this level that I've had in for ages. You can see the support from here, right? You can see the support every time I hit there, and just also resistance twice, so pretty credible. I think 40 is a psychological level, but not really a technical one. But we touched it yesterday, done. If we have a green day today, or let's just say we go all the way up in gold and silver, obviously we're going to take out 40. And then I think we get to 40, this zone. I don't know what it is. I would say 43, right? Maybe higher. Because think about it, like 43, you could do that on the way up as gold goes up to test its 52-week highs, all-time highs. Maybe more. What if we break out? What if silver breaks out? Like, I think Barrick could start making a charge to 56. And I almost go on a weekly. Well, I do. I did this yesterday. And first of all, from here to 56, which is that's a big 42%. I mean, to get to 43, 10%, that's doable now as gold. Newmont's got a 15% move to reach its 52-week highs. So Barrick would do 10%. It's already made a crazy move. So maybe Newmont, Agnico will outperform Barrick just on the way up to 52-week highs. But if we go higher, or once we break out, Barrick kind of has to go to the next level. There's only one level, maybe you stop off here, whatever, but above 50, mid 50s, and that's a huge move in a massive, massive stock. But there's no other way. And anyway, you're just going to your all-time highs. They've all done it already. Agnico, Wheaton, Newmont, they've all done it. So I think Barrick is going to be a monster. It already is. I mean, look at this vertical move, and we hardly came down. It outperformed defensively whilst we were coming down here, and we've already made new highs. But I don't know. Maybe I'm repeating myself, but I think Barrick is going to continue to do fantastically. So that is a wonderful hold, and let's just see what happens. But I'm absolutely loving Barrick. Pan America has also done quite well here. So it came down. I think it disappointed a bit on the move up. I already said that we should be at new all-time highs, and it wasn't. It didn't even hit 50, all-time highs. We were like, I think, what's the all-time high? It's like 40, yeah, 44. We didn't even hit that as silver made new all-time highs. So that was a bit disappointing, even though it's one of my favorite stocks. It's actually my heaviest stock. Came down quite a bit. Was it bad news or interpreted as bad news? I absolutely gobbled this up. Up we go, strong, strong. It's been strong for a while, and we are outperforming SIL, I would say, SILJ. Not that it's in SILJ, but SIL. Look at this close, best close in ages, right? Since the move up to 52-week highs. And yeah, I think silver is going to make the move. And I think Pan America is going to easily make new 52-week highs before SIL. Maybe not silver, or maybe at the same time as silver, but this is just going to monster. It's going to take out 43, 42.5, and it's going to run to 44, the all-time high. And I think it will be closing above 44 when silver's making new all-time highs. So outperformance, and it's my heaviest stock by quite a bit, especially now that it's up. I'm loving that. Let's check the royalty stocks, Franco-Nevada. Actually, I didn't see that. That looks really nice. I think that's a pretty clear level. That was the last high, a bit of support here too. As soon as you have one good day, you should just breach, and you could even close above this descending. That way we've taken out both levels, maybe hopefully on the same day, right? Especially if it's above 206, just to be sure. And then you can start making a big boom to 220. Sorry, I can just see it. And it's a nice number, so I would just say 220 also. And then the all-time high. And again, if gold's making the move, sorry, Franco-Nevada, I don't know what your plans were, but change of schedule, up you go to your old high. Wheaton underperforming, but not to the point where it's not going to go test its old 50-week highs if gold does. So that's fine, just a bigger move. Actually, underperforming, maybe not. Maybe I just prefer the Franco-Nevada chart because of the descending breakout. But yeah, basically 11%. Bit of an average move to its 52-week high, but like Agnico, I think, a little less than Newmont. The average. And, one or two good days in silver gold, and you're testing up here, next level 108.5. After that, boom, 114. Fine, average, love it. Support is probably going to be its last low now here. Yeah, simple, average, no problem. Okay, that's the sort of seniors done. Metalla, to be honest, it's been very good defensively on the way down. Very good. And actually on the way up, it's looking okay too. So one more nice average day, and you're testing 7.3, which is a pretty clear resistance, right? Never really cleared that. And once you take that 7.3, it's a pretty easy and obvious move to 7.7 52-week highs. And it looks like it's ready to go higher quite quickly before gold does. Next level, yeah, 8.5. I see no level at 8, really. Nothing. Maybe you can see 8's a little bit, but whatever. Once you take out 7.7, you're not going to have resistance so nearby. I think it's more 8.4. Wow, can you imagine that? 8.4 is quite easy, actually. quite easy. In fact, you're probably at 8.4 when gold's at its 52-week highs, all-time highs. And then if gold actually breaches and you start running to 4,500, you're starting to go to the nines, even though that's not a level. Wow. Next level is 11. Jesus, Metalla was like in the twos not long ago. This year, I remember that. I hated it. I wanted to dump it. And now we're going to be talking about 11s. That's a massive move. I'm starting to love this stock actually. Yeah, very strong, very obviously going to outperform gold on the way up. And I think take out 7.7 way before gold even tests its 52-week high. So absolutely loving that. Next, now the mid tiers, it's looking great. I don't know. I do like my stocks. I am gold made a new 52-week high, a new, all time, no, not all time, 52-week close. Wonderful. Obviously, if gold and silver go up, this thing just storms to new highs. Let's just immediately check the next levels. Look, that's the gap. That's what that was. Gap close level. Clear. Next level, we have something here. 16. It's nothing much. Plus, we're going to make her, yeah, 17. 17 for me. You could have a little stop off at 16, but nothing crazy. Let's check how much of a move that is, because this one is up for it. Those ones that had good news and then came down with the rest of the sector because the sector went down. Because, we had some pretty decent down days, in the whole sector. Look at that, bam. Obviously, you buy this one if you're looking, because it's going to go back up if the sector goes back up, because it's just had good news and it wants to go higher. So this will clearly just break out with energy. And yeah, I think you can do that quite easily. Like a 20% move, not even. Like Newmont has 14% to do to test its old 52-week highs from a few weeks ago if gold goes up. Of course, I'm gold can match that or just do a little bit more. So I think 17 is your next level. And I don't even know if I'm going to trim any. Oh, by the way, I haven't done any this week. Yeah, no buys, no sells. I'm just watching. We were kind of middle of the range. We had a few crazy down days and then the next day, crazy up day. I'm just like, it's cool. I bought this. I'm pretty heavy here. I'm not going to add more where I've already added. What if I'm wrong and it goes down? I need, ammunition. I call it ammunition. But if it goes all the way up here, maybe just those weak little pathetic trims I do that are more psychological than fiscal. But I think it goes even higher. IM Gold looks absolutely ideal. Good news, good technicals, the metals underlying fundamentally long term. It's beautiful. Equinox is the same. Also had great news recently of the strength. I know it's not as good as I am gold in the chart, but it's just one candle away from matching its chart. 13.5 easily testing and closing above that as gold goes up, even today maybe. And 13.5 is the all-time high, so you can understand why it pulled back a little bit from there. But I think you take that out, in one or two good days, and then after that, I don't know, maybe just 15 and 20. We'll see. You watch GDX if you really want to time a sell there, but another ideal kind of stock slash chart because I think gold goes up and this will just make new all-time highs. And on this one, long term is just going to become a monster, and you can see that already. So this one is another one that I just leave. No plans to sell that one, just hold. B2 Gold. Now this one, I want to still trim on the way up, and it looks like I could get that opportunity. Now, wait a minute. Barrick made a deal with the Mali government, maybe B2 Gold. I don't know. I'm not very good at all this micro business news. Maybe I'll check if B2 Gold had any discussions, but I still want to just exchange B2 Gold with something else. All the money from B2 Gold, I don't know, a bit in Pan America, a bit in the others, just spread it, and even a little bit in cash because it's done okay. Nowhere near as good as the others, but it came down way too much. A bit like CDE, it's like a 40% drop or something, almost 37%. But anyway, I think gold goes back up to its 50-week high. Therefore, I will start to trim then. So the selling that I want to do in miners, not that I really want to do any, but I will take it out on B2 Gold, a bit like I did in Fortuna. And I think Fortuna is probably making new all-time highs soon too. Was that a poor decision? Yeah, Jesus. Shouldn't have sold Fortuna. Ah, that's probably outperforming my other silver stocks. I'll get there later. Good for you guys holding Fortuna, by the way. All right, B2 Gold, I think will at least be at 4.8, if not higher. That'll be hard to take out, 5.3-ish. But I think if I start to trim B2 Gold, it'll either be 4.8 or higher, between 4.8 and 5.3. And I probably will only be at like half out by then. And actually, if gold's going to test its old highs, it's probably going to break out and go higher. So maybe, who knows, maybe I could end up selling in the high fives. But I'm not up for this jurisdiction risk stuff. I mean, I was up for it before because it was super cheap, but it's made its move. But that drop proves that it's probably best to be deployed elsewhere. So anyway, nice to see it go up. It's obviously taken out its little 4.2-ish first resistance. I've put 4.4 just because of that last candle there. So, and you can see it almost tested that. Yeah, so let's say 4.4. So once you clear 4.4, which obviously will if gold goes up, we go up to 4.8. I'll start trimming between 4.8 and 5 and 5.8. Let's see. Harmony. I'm just holding this pretty volatile one, big range, just holding. No plans to sell or buy. It's just a massive hold. It was a late buy down here, and it's just a hold for several months. No matter what happens, this one, that's just what I've decided to do for tax reasons also, just hold. I think it goes back to 22. You know, you can see here, it's basically got one level left. You close above 19, which you could do today slash tomorrow if gold just goes up a little bit. But if gold's going to test its old highs, this thing is clearly going to be testing its old highs too. There might be another level, you know, this gap fill, a little, I don't know, but I see it at 22 when gold's at its all-time high quite easily. Aris mining, this one, this one I just sort of I forget about it sometimes, but this is one of the best performing stocks. And actually, I was looking at my P&L. It's like top 10 easily in P&L out of all my stocks. And I can see why, you know, I held it sort of in the threes, maybe even the twos. I think I remember having in the twos. And here we are, 15s almost. Oh yeah, so this one, and it's probably a good thing I've got the chart like this. The next level, and it gets really hard for me. I've got 14, and then I just cannot tell where the next level is. I remember this being sort of 10 was resistance, right? 10, we popped our head above, came back down, whilst everything went up. It was sort of underperforming. I think it even had bad news. And then we retested the old high, but it's all choppy, you know. And here we've had another breakout, basically. You can tell it's completely broken out here the last 2 days since Monday. You know, completely outperforming gold, obviously. We're going to be at 14 way before gold tests its old high, way before silver tests its old high. So what happens? I mean, this is actually best case scenario here. What happens if, you know, let me reset the chart. Now you get to see, you know, the problem I have reading this chart. Okay, check this out. You take out 14 like today, tomorrow, before gold, way before gold tests its old high. What happens if gold starts to really go up and test its old high? If silver's like closing at 55, where's this thing? Is it playing gap fill games here? Is it going towards this more obvious 19 level? You know, like what? I mean, obviously, these gaps, lack of liquidity, it's hard to call. This is your last high, and to be honest, to make sure you get the fill if you want to sell it. 26. Wait, isn't that just basically 100% from where we are now? We're at 13. Like what? How does it work on these mental stocks? I don't know, so I'm just gonna hold. But if we start to really do crazy runs, I will just do little trims, which is what I typically do when I don't know what to do. I go in cruise control mode and I just little 3% trim, 3% trim, 3% trim every day. And then maybe there's a massive minus 30% move in 1 week, and then I don't regret my trims, even though I could have done better. Da, da, da. So this is just ideal. This is actually better than I am gold. This is the best gold stock. I just don't know what to do really, so I'm just holding, which has been actually the best thing to do. All right, SPSW. Obviously, there's more platinum palladium, but you can see looks good. You got that little 12.2-ish zone, 12 really. You close above that. Yeah, you're just going to test the old high, and this again is outperforming the gold and silver stocks. And I guess you have to look at platinum, palladium, but I think they just go up with the other metals. So this will just storm. And to be honest, you take out 13, and this has also been one of the best stocks. I mean, Aris Mining, SBSW, I don't really talk about them much, but look at I held them from the lows. I was adding in threes here. And here we are at 13. And to be honest, we take out 13 pretty soon, maybe this week, definitely by next week, definitely by mid-December, because I think they will cut rates. And then you're going up here, which is a small level anyway. Basically, you're going to 20, which is also another almost 100% move from where we are. Just crazy. All right, silver stocks. I can take this off. But yeah, that's kind of what I think is going to happen. So level to take out 13, we could do that on an okay day today, for example, right? So just a small little move to 13 on First Majestic. The pre-gap zone, 5%, that's something you can do today. But otherwise, silver, which I still think is going to go and test its old highs. Yeah, it means First Majestic has to test its old highs, 25% away, even more. Pre-gap, post-gap, boom, 25% move, which should be quite a nice little profit. So yeah, that's what I think is going to happen. Get rid of this, play the large range, sort of 10, 10, 50 on the way down, 30 on the way up, gap fill. Next one, that's cool. Fortuna I've seen, but I don't own it. Right, CDE, the B2 gold of the silver sector, even though it was my favorite stock. I still think silver's going to test this. I think silver is going to easily test 54.5/55. If we close there, I don't think CD is going to be all the way up here. That's just asking too much. But it probably will go towards 19. Yeah, it should, which is a huge move too. Because you could just get some silver mania. You could have silver stocks up double digits, like 10%. I mean, it's underperforming still. If silver has a good day today, which I mean, it's too early to call, but we should really be closing above 16. That's your first level, right? Keep it simple. 16 is your first level. You got to close above 16. Once you do that, it's a pretty long road. I think this would be a level. Yeah, 19, 19. Let me get rid of this. I don't care how significant it was in the past. The latest is more relevant. 19 is your next level, even though you got this pre-gap zone, 19 slash 19.5, whatever. Let's just sort of do it in the middle. 16 to 19. I think 19 is where you're going to be if silver's at 54.5. That's what I think. And then if silver breaks out, starts to run like 56, 57, I'm sorry, but this has to run all the way up. I still think long-term CD is going to be wonderful, but whether it's dilution in stock or how much of a move, I think it's going to be here when 54.5 happens. How much of a move? Another 25%. Whatever. It is what it is. But middle of next year, if silver's in the 60s, yeah, CDs in the mid 20s going towards 30, and therefore you've made a huge gain, right? It's just in the near term, it's underperforming. It might continue to underperform. Maybe not. Maybe the move it makes from here to 19 is matching the other silver stocks that have a bullish chart. So maybe now it starts to match others percentage wise on the way up. And maybe, months later into next year, it starts to outperform and become the beast that I know it can be. All right, Hecla, obviously outperforming CDE. Very, very, very strong. Had good news, a bit like Iron Gold, Equinox. So this thing, even today, but before silver tests its old high, Hecla will make a new 52-week highs. Look at that, that's easy. It's really a question of looking at what's after 16, and this is also hard to tell. Look at that, I had to go to the weekly. After 16, I think it's 18. We'll probably be at 18 when silver's at 54.5. And if we start to break out, which is kind of what you do, if silver's going to test 54.5, that's a triple top. And you start to go to 55, new all-time highs, momentum comes in. There's really not much until 26. Huge move. And that's, this whatever this was in the 70s, It goes from 4 all the way till almost 40, and you have these crazy moves. That's what's gonna happen here. You're gonna take out 18, and you have good reason, and you go up to 26, and that's not even matching. It should even be even better. So that's what I see happening. 16, 18, 26. Just hold. If you want to sell, light trims because you could have a massive move. EXK, not as good as Hecla, not as bad as CDE. Next move all the way up here, this sort of 8.5 resistance, this pre-gap fill. Obviously, it's a little trim at 8.39 if you want to play it really zoomed in, short-term tactical. Then you got the gap fill, and then you got the big move here. This, I think it's not at 10, not at 52-week highs when silver's testing 54.5, but just as we break out and make new all-time highs, that's when you can expect EXK to test its 52-week high. But that's cool because there's still a nice, wow, there's a nice move in that 33%. Basically, you're going to make 33% just after silver makes new all-time highs, and that's a huge amount of profit. So I'll take that. And that's it. All right, I've got a bunch of small juniors too. I've got the Jags, the Juanto, whatever, Aftermath Silver, which will also probably go all the way up here as silver makes, probably after silver makes new all-time highs. Some of them are looking good. Jag. I don't own enough. I know that it's probably one of the best stocks out there. I know it's going to be at 11 next year. I know it. I'm so heavy in the sector and I just can't add higher than I've already added when I'm so heavy in. There are some others, Kootenay. Go on, where are they? I've got them all here. Southern Silver, really quick. What's that doing? That looks good. Look at that. It was little resistance, came back down on the drop here, just overdid it because obviously it's lack of liquidity. Boom, that'll be at 4. That'll probably be going all the way up to 70 for sure. Right, look at that. Clearly, as we make middle of next year, after we start taking out 48, we're probably gonna go there. What else have I got? GWM. Go on. What is it? Galway Metals. I just see it all over the place. Bought that. Not doing as well. Probably gonna end up in the 80s pretty soon. Supposed to be a good one. Exelon Resources. Just all over Twitter. These are supposed to be great ones. I just bought. Yeah, I prefer my stocks than the ones I read on Twitter. But anyway, these are probably long term supposed to do really well. Let's see if we can go back up to 38. Jesus Christ, look at this. 38 cents and then breakout and then squeeze. If it's ever going to squeeze, it's going to squeeze when silver's sort of testing 60. Oh yeah, Aya. I keep forgetting Aya. Jesus. Aya. Yeah, underperforming. Remember that short attack? Plus the sector went down. Actually, that was the short attack and then went all the way back up. Made new highs. Never sold anything. Bit like Harmony. All the way back down. Underperforming. Sorry, you have to go back up to 19. Um, yeah, and I finally got Kootenay, haven't I? It's the last one I haven't shown you. KTN, which looks okay. All the way back down. Look at that. All the way from above 2 to 1.3. Almost 50% drop. And now I like that candle close. Here's your next level 1.6, and after that, it's pretty much a march up. So I expect this to be testing to basically, to summarize, I think silver is going to test its old highs. I think it's going to break out. I really do. I think it leads the way. I think gold takes a couple of days to catch up, and I think gold also has to make new highs. I think the miners will make new highs before gold. I think gold will be the last one. It's already done its job. It's the booster rocket that never gets thrown off. But gold will end up here, but the miners will probably break out before that, and silver will already be at 56 by then. So lots of profit to come. It looks good. Still, I can be wrong. Anything can happen, blah, blah, blah. But that's what I think is going to happen, and it looks good. Good luck.